Welcome everyone, and today I'm going to talk about one of the most dramatic matches I've ever fished. The emotions I went through, from the highs to the lows, to the middles, to the unsure, to the nervousness, and that was a FishOMania at Hayfield Lakes just gone the past. Now, I'm going to talk about that today, but just in this little backdrop of the River Dee, and I brought you here just to talk about it, nice little setting to talk about the match. So I'm going to start off with the preparation and how my thoughts went about it. I'm going to be truthful in this video, I'm not going to lie. I might sound a bit, I don't really know how to put it, but I might sound, sometimes you might think a bit cringy, but what I'm going to do is talk about exactly how I felt, when I felt, how I went about it, and stuff like that. So if you ever come across this situation, you maybe think, oh, Matt went about it like this, and maybe I'll try it in different situations. Everyone in life's a bit different. So I'm going to start off with the preparation for the final, how battle went it. And we'll start off first of all where I qualified. I qualified at Partridge Lakes, £166, 14 spey, on my birthday, so it's a nice little twist there. But the preparation, I didn't really go into much about it until say a month before. Now, with being furloughed for a long time in the summer, I had a lot of time fishing. I was always on the bank producing videos, fishing matches, coaching, and I really enjoyed this time. But when it come to a month before, I got a bit focused a lot on FishOMania. Now I've been lucky enough to fish Hayfield a lot in the past. I've fished 2 finals previously. I've been up there with some great anglers, and I'm going to name drop a lot of people, but I've got a lot of thanks to give them. And I've been up with Andy, Bennett, Paul Holland, fished a few times there with Jamie, and it's just the little things, the methods. Now, the week before, I went up practicing for 2 weeks, 3 times each time. One of them was 2 days pleasure fishing, 1 day was a qualifier, and the next 3 were a 3-day festival. Now, those haven't been Hayfield, it's very weather dependent. 1 day it can be bright sun, you're mugging fish. The next day, a bit cooler, you're catching on a bomb on short pole. Now, how to prepare for this is just cover your options, get everything. So, looking back, I first went up on I think it was a Tuesday. I've just fished a method feeder, just got my eye on casting, trying a few hook baits, load your method, how you load your method, different things like that. And getting your gear right was the key. So I wrote a little list down. This might help you in the future. I wrote a list down. I can remember it off the top of my head now. I had MCM size 12 with a spike and a band. They were for me hook baits for the method. So the spike was for a little yellow washter, and the band was an 8mm Coppins standard pellet. Now, the reason by the Coppins, I thought the fish were eating them, but the 8mm yellow wafter, I think it was the Pina Colada version of the Sonia Baits range, the ones that have the little yellow ones. Now, these can be quite tough, so a little trick is just to spike it with a little spike, and you can push your bayonet straight in, and you just get it in a little bit and then screw it in. You can catch, I think I had 15 fish in one go on this in a practice method, so it can be really good. Now, for short pole work, it's dead simple. 019 main line. I used a 4x16, I think it was a carp pellet, 4x16 carp pellet, 015 hook length, 16 kkm, 6 inch, dead simple. Now, the 6 inch 015 did my shallow rigs. For shallow rigs when you're slapping, I've used a 4x12 carp shallow when I'm fishing like 12 to 18 inch say, and then a really unique float. It's crazy. A lot of Hayfield's quite deep, so you catch them 3 foot deep, and it's really hard to see your bristle because the lake's so big. You get a lot of wind on there, different coloured lights, and the best float for that 3 foot deep was an edge float. One of the new Desert Edge floats. It got a 2.5mm top, and the fiberglass. I think the fiberglass stem, and they take 3 number 8s and 3 number 10s. So what you do, put 3 number 8s under your float and 3 number 10s down your line. You can flick it out. You catch these carp at Hayfield. Say that deep. It's really, but the most important thing, you see your bristle. Then you cover your wagglers. So I've got my waggler hook length set at 3 foot, 16 kkm 019 band. Then I got my bottom hook lengths, which I like to use a 14 kkm with a band. Got them in 12 inch just to keep it nice and simple. Did have some pre-ties with me in case you wanted to use a 15, just a bit longer. I like to use, when there's a lot of fish in your peg at Hayfie, I like to use a bit longer hook length. Just think it slows. When them fish are eating your peg, that bone comes down, just a little slower fall, you get a quicker bite. So that was talking from my gear. It wasn't, went up there, practice sessions, did no good in the qualifier. On the Thursday I stayed up there, caught a lot of fish shallow. And then the festival was really strange. The first day of the festival was when we had that heat wave. It was like 30 odd degrees, and I caught a lot of fish shallow, mugging at first, then shallow slapping. But I got absolutely destroyed by dobbing my next peg. It chewed me up, but it's a bit of controversy. We've both gone over on the nets and got disqualified. So that's one we need to just get a click of me and him. But we had a good little battle, seeing how he did, caught some dobbing. So learn, take it from this. I never say, oh, he was on a better peg, or he just take it, go, went up to him at the end, said, well done mate, how have you caught? Just got into the mind of them anglers and just took it from there. It's like I've said before, you want to pick and choose different methods of anglers and put them back into your own fishing. So my practice session went really well. I felt confident, I've got the right gear, I went practicing my methods. I was even lucky, I went for a lesson with Will Ray's and just how to cast the waggler properly, and that man is phenomenal. If any of you get the chance, go down to Gold Valley, have a lesson with Will. It's worth spending the money because the techniques, the attitude he has about fishing, just it gives you so much confidence about without even catching any fish on the setup. So you're not never doubting yourself, you just go in there. Now a lot of people thought, well, why are you going there with Will? But that man changed my casting. I'm more confident, and it just, for the little, it's a tiny output to massive input. So anyone, that's a great tip to go there. Now I'm going to go on to the draw now, and this is where it gets really interesting. So the draw was a bit different this year. Normally it's on a Friday night, you go up there with your family. Normally I'd have took my girlfriend, but sadly this year we couldn't go because of COVID, and it was only bank runners. So the draw was on a Tuesday night, which was a bit unique, and we got a little link to put us in a Zoom call. Now if I said I wasn't nervous, I'd be absolutely lying through my teeth. I went on the Zoom call, I was sitting there, and I just feel myself doing different things I'd never normally do, like licking my lips. My hand was twitching a lot. I had to hide my hands from the camera because I had to play, like move and fiddle with stuff to get itching. So we got the draw rolling, and honestly in my head I wanted peg 5. I've said it all week. I thought if you can catch on that bomb on that shallow bar on the island, I think anyone gets there with that standard of angler in that final, I think it'd be game over. And when Emily Fraser turned round peg 5, I was like, I didn't know what to do. I froze. I just thought, oh my god, that's massive. I was like, didn't know what to do. I had to sit there for the rest of the draw. I didn't know how to act. If that was the case, I didn't know what to think, how to act. It was a surreal feeling, and I never had that before. Don't get me wrong, when you go to qualifiers, open matches, you want to draw a good peg, but that soon fades like that. But when you've got so long to prepare for that match, and it's the biggest match in my life, so I was like, whoa. Anyway, phone's gone down, phone's gone mental. People saying, well done, you've won, good luck, oh my god, it's a flyer. People sending pictures of odds, and it's a hard thing that could probably get in your head, and the only way I found to deal with it is just play some music. I just did some prep, played some music, kept myself to myself. And if I'm going to take one thing away as a positive from this fish show, is I've learned a lot about how I control with pressure. Like, for example, when I drew 34 the pit last week, that was a certain type of pressure which I had to win the lake. Now it sounds daft, but when you're sitting there halfway through and you're not winning the lake, you could easily lose your cool. Now I got lucky with a late run of fish and they were all massive that day, but it doesn't matter. But when I've drew a peg in a match that I dreamt about winning for years and years and years, and the first chance I had, I've drew the peg I wanted, I'm thinking, oh my god, didn't know how to deal with it. So just played some music, plodded on. I was in college, plodded on for the week, did my prep, stayed up, made sure I had everything covered, ticking off my little whiteboard list. I've seen that off Darren Cox, had it years ago, just a little whiteboard list, tick it off. And got to the Friday, ended up going wedding ring shopping, which isn't ideal. Spent a lot of money then, but that's irrelevant. But took my mind off it, had a nice little lunch with my girlfriend. Anyway, went up to Hayfield on the Friday, met up with Jake from Sonia Bates, Rob Swan, loads of people in the bar. It was a nice buzz. It's a weird feeling, this final. Everyone wants to win, but everyone has a chat, has a beer, and went out for a curry that night. Anyway, but the only way I found was just playing some music. So if you're ever struggling, even if it's with stuff in pressure, life, work, just put a bit of music on. That's what I found was the best. Just keeps you nice and chilled, and I just found it easier to adapt with the pressure. It was a lot of pressure. I put probably a lot of pressure myself, thinking I've drawn that peg, I want to try and win. But I'm going to go on to the final now, the day, what was going through my mind, when was happening, and obviously go from there. So I'll just go on the final now. So the morning the finals come, 7 o'clock, we've come down for breakfast, and it was really weird. I didn't feel hungry. I didn't feel I wanted to eat anything. I just had like a piece of bacon, hash brown and sausage. It was such a weird feeling that you can put in yourself. It must be like when like footballers go out for a match, they don't, if it's a big match, say it's like a FA Cup final, which I think Fisher is in the fishing world terms, it's such a unique event, it's brilliant, but I couldn't really eat. I couldn't understand, like, I drank a bit and was just focused trying to block this pressure out, to be fair. Anyway, got to the venue, and then that's when it started to like kick in, really. The area you're in, the surroundings, I think there's a fish top there, the surroundings that you have, like you've got Andy Bennett, Jamie Hughes, Powers. I had a good laugh with Chris Lane in the morning, but you're sitting there with your FishO pants on, your FishO coat, there's a sign in the water which says FishO on, there's a FishO sign behind, there's a drone flying around, it's just the buzz of the event. The only thing that was the worst thing about it was no crowd, but that is no one's fault. That is down to COVID. The Matchroom have done the best they can to get this match going, and it's a fantastic event, and I'm glad it's gone ahead, but that was the only thing for me, that no crowd in the morning. But you know, everyone at home's watching, so you know everyone's rooting for you. My phone's gone mad, and as I've said before, I appreciate everyone's messages. I tried to get back as many as I can. I think I got back to people the day after, but it's such a surreal feeling that you try and block it out, like I said. But we've gone back to the match now, and I'm just plumped my box down and setting up my kit. So I'm setting up my kit. I know what I want to do. My idea of the plan was short pole to start, tick over there, half an hour say before them nets come out, then chuck a method to the island. Now the plan was to try and chuck a method to the island to tick over before my bomb line come good. That's where I thought I'd do the damage. That's where I've seen it catch in the past. I've caught myself on it in a practice match, a practice day years ago, and I've seen it, and it's a terrific area. Now when the match started, the hoot has gone, that famous like klaxon all in you sort of thing, and I've gone out, shipped my pellets out, started feeding 6 mils, I fed about 8 mil on the hook, sat there, and I'm sat there waiting, and I can just feel my hand shaking, and I'm like, I can't control that. I couldn't stop my hand shaking. Next minute I'm thinking in my head, God, it's not gone under yet. I think, oh no, it's not gone under, and then all of a sudden it's just gone whack, struck into it, 13 otters come out like 5 foot, and that, it's like a sickening feeling when you hook your first fish. It was like, right, ship back dead slow, and you do some random, I never play a fish like that, I'd never ship back so slow as I did, pick my top kit up, lift it up, and be like shaking on my top kit. Now I've netted it, and that's it, I've been fine then. It was the weirdest feeling. It's like a demon left my body, and I've netted the fish, and I've gone back in, and I've just stopped, not even shook and nothing, and I thought, right, here we go, concentrating on the fishing, caught another one. Now I think the first weigh-in had 4 kilos, 400, something like that, and then the next weigh-in I've caught 3 in a method feeder. Now there's a bit of controversy. I've seen people on Facebook saying the advertisement board was cutting me off and was in my peg. But to be fair, where the advertisement board was, I could never chuck the feeder because of the trees, and I had to chuck a feeder just slightly between the 21 and 22 side because there was a tree where the cameraman was stood anyway, and I had to chuck there. And I found chucking slightly off the island, a bit deeper water, was the better how I got my fish. It was a sort of a miscast, and I left it and it's gone. And I thought, well, you're fishing at range. Like, to be fair, I need to improve my casting. That's one thing I've learned. But you're fishing at range with casting these method feeders in. They can't be on a sixpence every time. I'm not Paul Holland, Will Raisin, Ringer. I'm not all them. I've never claimed to be that good at casting, but they can put it on the sixpence. But it didn't affect my peg. I never sat down and thought that boy's doing my head in, or the floating sign or whatever it was. It's doing my head in. So maybe it's all part of FishO that. I don't think to be fair, fed me edge and a cameraman come on and film Chris Lane, and like in a normal match you go absolutely ballistic, but that's FishOMania. I was probably never going to get a bite down the edge anyway, but that is what it is. That is the trophy. That's what I've seen, everyone's seen for years. I just think it's one of them things. I don't think it hindered me. I seen a fish actually top behind it, so anything, it held a few fish, and I was trying to think it like that. But I've caught 3 fish on a method feeder, quality carp. They went 8 kilo. So now I'm at the first hour in, I've got 13 kilo, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. I said to myself, if I can catch 2 fish an hour, that's ideal. So I'll give myself a bit of breathing space. So I need to catch 1 the next half an hour to be up to 15. Say if 2 fish is 2.5 kilo. Then I went an hour without a bite. Now I did crack off, I'm not gonna lie, cracked off my feeder on my shot leader. So I chucked my bomb in, had to retime my feeder back up. Now, I thought the key is just not to lose me when I cracked off. Like, a lot of people will not admit that. If you ask Abby next to me, she witnessed it. But I just reset my feeder back up, plodded on the bomb. I had a few liners and I thought, well, maybe there's a few fish about. Maybe they'll get their heads down a bit later on. Anyway, I think it was 2 hours gone, I'm obviously waiting for, I was still 13 kilo, and there's people pulling away now, and I thought, the only way I can get a bite is on a method. Chris next to me was catching on a method as well. So I've chucked it back in, it's gone round 3 times. Now these fish I had were massive, big. I think I had a big ghosty, a big mirror, and a slightly smaller one, about 6-7 pound. And Chris, my runner, said, oh, what do you reckon you've got? I said, I reckon I've got like 11 kilo with 3 fish here. He was like, nah, it's 8 kilo that. I was like, no, trust me, it's 11 kilo. I've chucked 11 kilo on the scale, and it's like, Now, if to people at home, they would have thought, oh, it kicked off for you there. I felt I fluked them fish. I just felt that area. After that, the area died. No one caught anything around us. Me and Chris caught nothing. Poor Abby next to me caught nothing later on. And then I think John Light and Lingard caught nothing in that area. Jamie opposite caught nothing. So it's like the fish just slowly drifted off or just stopped feeding in that area. Now, I've had one more bite the rest of the day for 1 kilo 400. I ended up with 25 kilos, something like that. Now, it is gutting that I missed out on my section. I want to say well done to Chris for getting his section. He fished a nice match. He's just chucked the method, kept it nice and steady, been patient, caught some big fish. But I was generally gutted about my section. I thought I had a brilliant chance of catching it there. I know I probably was looking to win the match, but it's just a nice added extra when you're going. But it's one of them. I've come 6 overall. The thing I want to take away is I never lost my head under the pressure, and I had a lot of pressure for 3 days, and I felt I dealt with it well. And I feel like I learned that from myself. I learned how to deal with it. Maybe in years to come, I'll be a lot better if I ever get put in that situation. Don't get me wrong, if you're ever winning, I don't think you can ever prepare yourself for that. But the early stages where you need to be calm and collective is when. Now, I'm going to talk about the overall winner because calm and collective should be his middle name. Andy Bennett. Like, I am lucky to have him as a good friend, but he as an angler isn't like, should be looked at as how to present yourself. When he was in the final there, he's been calm, collective. He wasn't in the running early on, and then the fish had turned up and he just made the most of his chances. Say if he's had 10 chances to catch a carp, he'd have took 10 chances. And this is what I say to people when I coach or speak to, it's like, if you went fishing, say for example 3 people, John, me and Bennett. John's just started fishing, so if he put his rig in or had a chance to catch a carp 10 times, now if I'd done it at say 50, Bennett would do it 99, so he's got 1 chance less of missing a fish and you've got 50. So this is it might be a bit drastic, them things, but this is what I'm trying to get across. He doesn't make a mistake. Now for me, that's the type of angler I want to be. I look up to the man, I have done for years, and I just think his attitude towards fishing is brilliant, and he is absolutely fantastic. It just proves the likes of him, Jamie, Powers as well, they're just relentless and they just don't miss the opportunities to get. It'd be like Ronaldo, Messi and Neymar, say they don't miss any of the chances, they just take them as they come, be ruthless, relentless and get the job done. Now, I'm trying to congratulate him, double champ, it's ridiculous. It looked very cold, so I wasn't envious when he had to jump in, but I'd love to get my name a trophy, but this year wasn't meant to be. But I feel like I've learned a lot from my time there. I'm not going to dwell on the fact that I was on a flyer and I messed it up and maybe all that. I just think the fish weren't there in numbers late on because no one caught around us. And what I want to do is think my preparation I thought was bang on. I had all the methods, I practiced all the methods. I went there, I gave it my best shot, and first of all I learned a lot about how to conduct myself for a final. I've only been in 3, but I was a bit younger, now I'm a bit older, I've seen a bit more, and the experience, you can't buy that. You couldn't go out to the shop and buy 5 hours sitting in the FishOMania final with a cameraman stood literally where the camera is now, and the pressure of people coming up to chat and say, oh, what would you do with 50 grand? Well done, you won the 50 grand and stuff like that. I just think I'm really happy with the way I've conducted myself. I've learned from it. I've fished, maybe not fished well, I can take it from it. Right, I can go and practice casting, but next time in that situation, I go out, practice casting, get better and better and better. And practice makes perfect. The small margins are out of my control is the draw and the extra pressure which you try and deal with. But the ones which are in your control is your preparation and your practicing. They are the 2 biggest things. I learned that from when I went with Will. He spoke a lot about being prepared and practicing the methods. It's all right going, for me, on an open match. Yeah, I've caught some, but I'd rather go practice casting for 3 hours, practice casting my waggler for 2 hours, catch some fish in a bomb, learn how your tackle uses. I have a lot of confidence in all my tackle now, and I think that's massive. I think if you're sitting down, not worried about your hook length, your pole, your elastic, your float choice, your rig choice, your shotting pattern, if you're not thinking about all that and all you're thinking about is the weather and how you're going to present a bait, then I think you'll have a massive edge over a lot of people in fishing. Now, I just want to congratulate him again. What an angler. Hopefully I can get in, just name on the once on the trophy, but we'll keep going. For me, I think I'm going to put FishOMania's qualifiers first over a lot next year. I think that's the FA Cup of fishing. It's a real experience. I've got my coat, my trousers, my waterproofs, and I just really enjoyed my time. Now, I just want to thank everyone again just for all the comments about the match, even about this channel. And I've been back to work recently, but after I've got Fisho out of the way now, I'm going to focus on trying to get this channel to where I want it to be. Just a bit more fishing content. I'm going to chuck some match reports in because everyone's had a good feedback about them. Don't be wrong, I don't mind a bit of feedback. If you think something's wrong or you want someone else you want to see, say river fishing with a stick float, I'm not the best, but we'll give it a go if you want to see my insight on it. But whatever you want, just drop a comment. It helps with looking to know what the audience wants, and it helps me in the future. But I'm definitely going to focus on getting my channel up to date and giving you guys some good content. So thank you for watching, thank you for your comments, and I'll see you on the bank soon. Cheers.